I never believed in ghosts. Not really. I thought haunted hospitals were just something people made up to spice up urban legends. That was before I worked night shift at St. Elora's Hospital, a building so old, even the walls seemed to remember suffering. I started as an overnight janitor, the kind of quiet job you take when you're trying to disappear from the world. St. Elora's wasn't a typical hospital anymore. It had been partially converted into a long-term care facility after the funding dried up. Half of it remained sealed off abandoned wings with broken beds, rusted equipment, and stained floors no one bothered to clean anymore. That's where the stories lived. The staff called it the dead end. The first few nights were uneventful. Just me, my mop, and the hum of flickering fluorescent lights. I stayed away from the closed-off wings. But then, the requests started. Management asked me to start cleaning storage areas in the north wing depart nobody used anymore. Just surface work, they said. Sweep the halls, wipe the walls, nothing fancy. The north wing hadn't been touched in years. It reeked of mold and something else like stale blood and antiseptic that had dried decades ago. The moment I stepped through the double doors, my skin prickled like I was walking into a freezer. But I did my job, kept my head down, and ignored the way my footsteps echoed too many times. Then I started hearing things. First, it was the whispering, faint, like someone murmuring just around the corner. I'd turn and find nothing but empty hallway. Then there were footsteps, not mine, heavier, slower, always a few steps behind. I told myself it was the building settling old pipes groaning, but every time I tried to shake the feeling the lights would flicker, and my reflection in a cracked glass of old door windows would linger a little too long. One night, I was cleaning room 313. The door had been rusted shut, and I had to kick it open. Inside, the bed was overturned, and the walls were covered in peeling paint, and something darker stains that looked too much like handprints. I was about to leave when I noticed a file folder still sitting on the bed. It had a name written in shaky handwriting. Evelyn Marsh. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. The photos inside showed a girl no older than 10, strapped to a hospital bed. Her eyes were wide open. Her mouth was stitched shut. My blood ran cold. Beneath the photos were pages of handwritten notes. Patient shows extreme hostility. Claims to hear voices in the vents. Blames the woman in white. Treatment unsuccessful. Sedation no longer effective. I dropped the file and backed out of the room. That's when I heard a soft giggle, not from the hallway, but inside the room. I didn't look back. I slammed the door and ran. That night, I tried to report what I found, but the supervisor laughed it off. Old patient records, those should have been shredded years ago. He told me to stop letting the building get to me. You're just tired. Everyone hears things in the north wing. That didn't help. In fact, it made everything worse, because if everyone heard things, why did they keep sending people back? Over the next few nights, the hospital seemed to close in around me. Doors that were open would be shut when I turned around. Lights would go dark as I walked through the halls. Once, while cleaning an old nursery room, a mobile above an empty crib began to spin slowly. There was no breeze, no explanation. Then the crib creaked. I left my mop behind and didn't go back. I started sleeping during the day with every light on, the TV playing static just to drown out the silence. But it followed me. I'd wake up gasping, drenched in sweat, with the sound of hospital monitors beeping in my ears. Sometimes I'd hear whispers through my walls. "Come back," they'd say. "You left her behind." Then came the night I couldn't ignore. I was mopping the north hallway when I saw someone at the end of the corridor. A woman in a white hospital gown. Her back was turned to me. I called out, "Ma'am, you're not supposed to be here." She didn't move. I stepped closer, and the hallway seemed to stretch. The closer I got, the farther she seemed. Finally, she turned. Her eyes were hollow. Her mouth was stitched, just like the girl in the file. She didn't walk toward me. I dropped them up and ran. I don't even remember how I got back to the main floor. I told the nurses. I told the supervisor. No one believed me. but I know what I saw. They told me to take the weekend off. Clear your head. I didn't. Instead, I went back during the day. I needed answers. I snuck into the basement records room using the old keys the former janitor left behind. The files were all there. Boxes stacked to the ceiling. I found more folders like Evelyn Marsh's kids, adults, dozens of them, all treated in room 313, all marked deceased, all complaints about the woman in white. Then I found a black file with no label. Inside was a single photo of a nurse. Her face was twisted in anger. Behind her stood a patient strapped to a bed. The notes read, Subject, Nurse Margaret Heller, terminated after multiple misconduct complaints, accused of unauthorized procedures, patient abuse, and sedation experiments, disappeared before trial, believed to be hiding in the north wing. Last seen near room 313. I left the basement shaking. That night, I decided to quit. But before I could, they called me in for one last shift. Just cover until midnight, they said. You can be done after that. I agreed. Big mistake. At exactly 11:11 p.m., every light on the north wing went out. My radio cracked. A voice whispered, She's here. I dropped it. I heard footsteps again. Fast, angry. I ran through the dark, tripping over gurneys and broken chairs. Then I saw her. Nurse Heller. Same twisted face from the photo. Her eyes glowed like burning coals. She screamed this inhuman, shattering sound and every door in the hallway slammed shut at once. I dove into room 313 and locked the door behind me. The room was colder than ever. The walls pulsed like they were breathing. I backed into a corner, trembling. Then I saw Evelyn, the girl from the file, sitting on the overturned bed, whispering something over and over. Don't let her take you. Don't let her take you. Suddenly, the door burst open. Nurse Heller charged in, but Evelyn stood and screamed. A blinding light erupted, and everything went white. I woke up in the hospital's emergency room. They said I collapsed from exhaustion. My supervisor claimed I never even clocked in, said the north wing was sealed all night, that no one saw me enter. But I remember, I still hear Evelyn's voice in my sleep. I still feel that cold in my bones, and I never went back. I drive by St. Elora sometimes, just to see if it's still standing, and every time, I swear I see someone watching from the third floor window, room 313. Until next time, stay safe.